on. And we're seeing that, that some of the successes that we've had to date in this operation are a direct result of having learned the lessons from Lebanon. So in fact, we have actually achieved a strategic surprise that was probably not expected by many. There was an expectation that on the Hamas side that an attack by the Israelis was not imminent. And as a result, when the IAF, the Israeli Air Force, first attacked Hamas at the opening of this operation, it was actually able to hit many centers and many of its leaders in the command control.
Well, but let me ask you about what the job is that it has to do now. Does it have to fight house to house? Does it have to search for the Hamas leaders that are still at large? Does it have to find the weapons caches and the rockets? Or does it simply have to hit hard enough so that even if the leaders and the weapons are still there, Hamas will no longer use them against Israel?
Yeah, I think it's actually the latter. I mean, in response actually to one of the comments made by the Palestinian legislator with whom you spoke earlier, you know, if you actually look at the size of the force that's being utilized and the operation that's taking place, this is not in any way an operation that is looking to occupy or assert complete control over Gaza. The actual cutting off of Gaza, the northern sector, the sector from which the missiles the missiles which have been fired at Israel's southern cities like Ashdod, these are large population centers like Ashdod and Beersheba. The goal is actually to focus on these particular areas where the rockets are being launched and to destroy these weapons caches in these cells. And so there is house-to-house fighting. Israelis are working house-to-house right now. And as part of its goal to mitigate the loss of civilian life, we telegraph through text messaging, through leaflets, through announcements, to enable the civilian population to move out of these areas prior to engaging with Hamas.
Now, how damaging, even if Israel achieves its military goals, how damaging will it be that someone from Hamas is going to survive all of this, and even if there's just one Hamas member left standing, Hamas will survive, and Hamas will claim that as a victory, just the way Hezbollah did that in Lebanon. So the enemy that Israel has will claim victory, and will have horrible pictures of devastation and wounded civilians to show for it. That whatever the military gains, there will be an enormous loss publicly and for world opinion.
All right, absolutely. Perception is critical. And I think in this way, Israel has marshaled its forces in a way that it didn't in 2006. And I think you're absolutely correct to say that I don't think that there's any expectation within Israel that we are going to destroy Hamas, that there will not be members of its leadership who will survive this operation. That is not the stated goal, and if you look at the size of the forces and the actions we've taken to date, that is not the objective. What will occur there is actually very similar to what we actually have achieved in Lebanon, which is a change in the dynamic in the relationship, an understanding on the part of the Hamas leadership that firing missiles to Israeli citizens, to Israeli cities, is just not permissible.
Let me ask you one last quick question. If they don't know it now, and look, we're looking at pictures of the devastation, if they don't know what the cost is to them now, how long will it take for them to learn? How long do you think Israel is going to stay on the ground and continue the bombardment from the air of Gaza?
I honestly think that is unknown at this stage. I do, though, believe that it is a matter of weeks and not days.
Adam Harman, author of a really remarkable book about his time in the Israeli army. Thanks so much for talking with us.
Thanks, Jonathan.